I would say basically since hip hop has gone commercial, um, sex has kind of steadily infiltrated hip hop and the messages in hip hop to the point where you really cannot hear a popular hip hop song that doesn't revolve around sex in some way, shape, or form. And so when you get to that point, then like women become sex objects and not MCs who can hold their own.
It's difficult for a female artist to just be accepted, because it's kind of, not to say that hip hop is like sexist, but it's like females have to really prove themselves that they can keep up with it, and they gotta have the right lyrics and everything, and to be able to keep up with the top artists and stuff. So you gotta kind of, it's like a respect thing. Females have to try harder to earn the respect. Yeah, I guess it's, you know what I'm saying, it just comes with the territory.
Where you had artists like MC Lyte and Queen Latifah and Moni Love and Yo-Yo and like all these, you know, female rappers who were holding their own alongside of male rappers. Who have we had in the last 10-15 years? We've had Foxy Brown, amazing rapper but extremely sexualized image. Lil' Kim, solid rapper, very sexualized image. You had Lauryn Hill, who was like the kind of like the antithesis of the new female rapper, that she was intelligent, she was not overexposing herself, she was really more focused on mental and emotional aspects of things versus like the physical.
Women in hip hop, they were actually, they would speak out about how bad, you know, the men would treat them. You know, like say Queen Latifah, UNITY, like she came out and like, you know, it's like, who you calling, you know, so and so, whatever. And it's like female rappers back then were more about trying to be like positive for themselves and like, you know, putting their black fist up and wanting to like, you know, kind of speak out against what men were doing to them or whatever. But like women rappers today are more trying to like sell sex.
That's why it's different. Like with Nicki Minaj now, it's kind of like she's the new female artist of this generation with the whole outfits, because now it's all about image, and whoever looks the craziest or the most different or unique and eccentric, that's the one that's like selling. So she's like that new artist of this era.
She can definitely hold her own as a rapper, but her image is extremely sexual. You know, like the size of her rear end is referred to all the time by her Young Money counterparts like Drake and Lil Wayne. And when she performs, she accentuates that. So she's very aware of what she has to offer physically as eye candy, and she plays that up to go along with the skills that she brings. So it's kind of multifaceted. You have the labels who choose who they want to sign, what type of music they want to put out, but the labels really want to make money, so they choose artists that they think are going to sell. So the fans have a lot of influence on them, but then again the artists do too, because if artists weren't presenting those, if there were no artists that were willing to present those messages, then even if labels wanted to sign those artists, they wouldn't be able to. So it's like you have the labels, you have the artists, you have the fans, and then you have like the media, like the radio stations. Like I always wonder, there's a certain type of song that makes it onto the radio, you know what I mean, in terms of hip hop, which you can't even really call it hip hop anymore, like commercial rap, kind of like pop rap or whatever. And I always wonder, like, do people listen to that because it's what's on the radio, or is that what's on the radio because people listen to it? It's kind of like which came first, the chicken or the egg. And so, but I think radio, however it works, however they choose what's going to get onto their stations, like they do play a huge role in what the masses are listening to and think is cool and think is acceptable. I mean, if you hear a song 5 times a day, maybe even if you hate it the first time, after a week you've heard it 20 times, now you don't mind it so much. 2 weeks later you kind of love it. 3 weeks later it comes on in the club and you're dancing and going crazy. 4 weeks later you go out and buy the single or download it or whatever people are doing these days. It's like radio, you know, has a big role in shaping what we listen to. So I think, I mean, I don't think it's one thing, one person, one aspect of the business. I think it's all of them kind of working together. But I think the bottom line is just no one is really looking out. Like it's kind of like there's no one to really put checks and balances on hip hop and say, there's no one that's really caring about hip hop, the culture itself. I mean, there are some artists that are, but in terms of like a figure that actually has control over all of hip hop and can kind of steer it in the right direction, there's no one doing that. So people are just doing whatever they think will sell with no regard for how it affects the culture, how it affects listeners, how it affects, society.